So finally, there's some green in the market. There is a lot to talk about. Cardano hitting new milestones and huge price predictions for Cardano ADA. I also want to touch on what I've been hinting about the last few videos about exhaustion, how exhausted retail investors are. So we're going to dig into all this sort of stuff. If you enjoy this sort of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's waste no time. Let's go. So we're going to start here on coin market cap. The total market cap of crypto globally is up 1.04% at the time of recording, now sitting at $3.42 trillion. Bitcoin just under $103,000, up 0.99% in the past 24 hours. The fear and greed index is now at 24, so that's improved ever so slightly. But we're here to talk about Cardano ADA. Is up 0.77% in the past 24 hours and now sits at 53 cent 59. But look, I really want to talk about retail investors. You know, I've been hinting about this, you know, for a while on the last, at least the last two videos, talking about how exhausted I felt and how exhausted I know everyone else in, you know, the retail investor community feels, right? This article, Bitcoin Retail Investors at Max Depression, says Bitwise CIO, but crypto winter is not coming. So look, I want to touch on this, right, from a two-pronged approach. So it's not just Bitcoin retail investors, it's, you know, crypto retail investors across the board. We're being punished when it comes to the cost of borrowing. We're being punished the cost of living. Like, it's had a huge impact. And if we rewind 2 years or so, I was saying that this was going to come. People were going to struggle to keep their lights on. Lots of people are going to lose their jobs. You know, people are going to struggle to keep food on the table and feed their families. They're going to have to sell their assets, right? And we're sat here today and we're talking about all the stuff that I was forecasting a couple of years ago, right? And I was quite clear about my expectations. We've done really, really well when it comes to the forecasting. But I agree, the winter is not coming yet, not right now. Now, when I say this, I am expecting this to be a big shakeout, the biggest shakeout before the biggest bull run in crypto history. Just my opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Treat this purely as entertainment purposes only. Nothing's guaranteed in crypto or investing, full stop. You know, contact a financial advisor before making any decisions on investments, and do your own research, right? Just don't follow people blindly. But what I do want to say is there's lots of people talking about you know, a big recession, and they're hinting at big investors like Warren Buffett and various others being out of the market and in cash, right? And I get it, and I agree with it to a point, but I don't think that that's going to happen until we have this huge blow off top with risk on assets. And I'll come on to why later on in today's video, right? I'll give you kind of my forecast for this stuff, real alpha, because we've been really, really I guess, on point when it comes to our forecast. Doesn't mean that future predictions are going to be correct, right? Nothing's guaranteed, as I mentioned earlier. But that recession's not going to happen until after June, July 2026, right? It just isn't, right? Because you're going to have a lot of QE, lots of money printing, lots of liquidity coming into the market. And I'll touch on stablecoins and what that means. And like, this might seem really boring, but it's really important. If you want to be successful, you need to understand this stuff. Liquidity is what's moving this market, right? But like Warren Buffett and these big investors, yes, they're in cash. Nobody's arguing that, right? They've got great track record, but they approach the markets very differently to retail investors, and rightly so. They're protecting huge amounts of wealth, so they're not trying to time the market. It's okay for them to sell up to 2 years before the crash, but they lose out on all those big upside swings, right? And they could have sold for much higher. But that's not what it's about. It's about preserving that wealth, and they're going to buy much lower than what they sold. And that is always the aim of the game. But when you're working with that amount of large capital, you know, you have a different approach. They've got the wealth. We're generating the wealth. It's different, right? It's different strategies is kind of what I'm trying to articulate, probably quite poorly. But look, you know, the winter isn't coming yet. Not yet. we're going to have huge moves, in my opinion, to the upside. We're going to see everything bottom out, the accumulation phase end, and we're going to see big moves to the upside. Institutional adoption of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is not slowing down. So we want to be aware of that, right? I want to try to articulate this. I actually put it in our free educational Discord, link in the description down below. I don't personally want to be that guy talking to my grandchildren stating I own cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, Solana, Sui, Chainlink, XRP, just to list a few, but I sold in October of 2025 and November of 2025. I don't want to be that guy, because these, in my humble opinions, are the biggest opportunities to build generational level wealth in history. And I'm not going to be on the wrong side of it. I'm a born winner. I talked about being a winner, and I talked about, how I approach this. It's just my opinion. So, take it with a pinch of salt. But I think, I'll ask the question, do you want to be that guy or that girl? Probably not. Cardano 10 million user thesis heats up as Charles Hoskinson outlines bold 2030 vision. So look, big milestones. I'm not the only one talking about big moves. We've got Ali charts here talking about it going above $1.60, or actually $1.70. $1.70. So look, bold vision for 2030. And privacy is a big part of this, right? We've just heard Litecoin talking about the importance of privacy layers. Cardano will have Midnight, again, that compliant privacy layer, brings in real world adoption, banking, healthcare too, that just really stand out to me. And again, this is all going to be huge opportunities. Take spot ETFs, access to Bitcoin's liquidity for DeFi on Cardano. Lots of really exciting things, right? Lots of really exciting opportunities coming for Cardano. Don't forget, you can stake your Cardano ADA to the cheeky crypto stake pool Cheek, the ticker CHEEK. We have 7.4 million ADA delegated by over 1,477 individuals. Really appreciate that. It supports the channel, helps us continue to do what we're doing here. I think people don't realize that it costs a lot of money to run a YouTube channel. I mean, we just purchased new cameras, thousands and thousands of dollars on new equipment so we can have 4K, and we can even go as high now as 8K once the likes of YouTube and other platforms catch up and have 8K available for viewing, right? So this sort of stuff, like supporting us with the stake pool, really helps us continue to develop and build better quality content. Cardano ADA bulls stop the bleeding and target 72 cents. So this is what we're looking for. Can we finally break the 60 cent support on the horizon? Potentially, and then we're going to go to 72 cent. I mentioned earlier, like I say earlier in a previous video, that I really did believe that we were going to go to 80 cent before we go to 40. We'll see whether that plays out. Let me know if you agree with that or disagree in the comments below. And then we've got this article here that's basically talking about price prediction. Again, $1.70. Turns out I've been locked out and they want to charge me, and I'm not paying for content written by people that don't understand crypto. But we've got ADA price prediction. Partnership with SpaceX is the question. Cardano might explode soon. So we've been working closely with the US Senate Banking Committee on two major pieces of legislation, the Genius Act and the Clarity Act. And that is going to be really, really interesting to see how that sort of comes to fruition. But the big part, of the interview was when Charles Hoskinson mentioned SpaceX. He said that we had earlier discussions and agreed to revisit talks in 2026. The issue now, for now, is that Cardano's current tech stack does not yet meet SpaceX's requirements. So are we going to see, Charles Hoskinson and Midnight start to work with SpaceX? Could be really interesting. And then we've got Unity nodes, which I think are a fantastic opportunity. Do check it out. I will link the website in the description of the video. You can now generate rewards crypto rewards, that is, by verifying the telecom grid. This is like making sure that there isn't any scams on the telephone grid, and the quality of the calls and all that sort of wonderful stuff is good. And anybody can earn crypto rewards directly from their mobile phone by verifying the global telecom grid. Every verification call made through the Unity app installed on your mobile phone strengthens the network. And look, you buy one Unity node, you get 200 licenses, you get some minutes tokens staked, you get some world mobile tokens also staked. They're staked and locked for 24 months. But the part that will interest most people is the amount of rewards that you can get from one of these Unity nodes. You can earn up to $19,200 if you activate and use all 200 licenses. Obviously, these rewards aren't fixed. They do change. They have some criteria that will decide whether you meet this actual figure or not. Things like network performance, market conditions, and operator activity. But this is, I'm told, a realistic calculation of what is possible with Unity nodes. I do encourage people to go do some more research on this. Obviously, I'm just highlighting it as something that I've personally invested in and I think is a really good opportunity. It's not always an opportunity for everyone. Do your own research, perhaps contact a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. But the link is in the description of the video, and you can join us in the free educational Discord if you've got any questions. Expert predicts Cardano's price surge as Hoskinson touts midnight potential. And look, I don't need to hear what Charles has got to say on midnight. Maybe you do. Maybe what I say doesn't hold anywhere near the but the power of what Charles says. But like, this could be a really bullish breakout price wise for Cardano ADA. Midnight is going to be huge. The reason why I believe this is midnight solves so many really big issues, right? Like, at the moment, businesses can't come online, right? Like, they just can't, right? If you're a manufacturer or a shop, you're not going to want everybody knowing who you're buying your produce from, right? At the moment, if you were to use blockchain technology, everybody would know what you're buying, how much you're paying, who you're paying, when you bought stuff, how long you've had it. Like, there's whole loads of risks. You go into healthcare, everybody would see your private medical records. It's not something you want. It's not something you want to be sharing with everybody. Well, midnight obviously is a privacy layer. It's a compliant privacy layer. It means you can mask or unmask at will. This means that you can potentially have healthcare on the blockchain for the very first time, where you have control over your medical records and you decide whether a doctor can see it or can't see it, or whether you share it with a friend or you don't share it with a friend. Pharmacists, practitioners, whoever it might be, you can choose whether they have access or don't have access to it. It might not even work that way, right? Like, I'm just thinking the best way that it could possibly work with AI and everything coming in, right? I would want to have control of all my records myself, not a third party. Like, the NHS in the UK, maybe they shouldn't have my medical records. Maybe I should have my medical records. And if I want to share those for money, then I'll be able to do that. Now, with AI coming in and people losing their jobs, there's got to be new ways to, make revenue, as a citizen, right? And I think that will be through things and initiatives like this, where you sell your data and you choose to hold your data and who gets to see it. And people who, it's a big industry. People pay a lot of money for data. It's very valuable. And at the moment, most of the time, you're giving it away for free. So look, I think that this is going to be huge. And ultimately, because of that, I don't need to hear what Charles has got to say on it. I know that this is going to be absolutely huge. I was talking about it before Charles Hoskinson actually announced that they had even built it. I think I was the first person to interview Charles about midnight. And I don't know if that was strategic because I've been talking about this stuff for a long time, or whether it was just a coincidence. But I've been talking about a compliant privacy layer being a missing part of the jigsaw, and now it's finally going to be here for Cardano. I think it's a really big feat, a really big aspect to, I think, the future performance of Cardano ADA. Price prediction targeting $3.10 amid all this volatility. We've still got people talking about $3.10. I think again it's inevitable. We've talked about, the evolution, the missing privacy layer. I think this is inevitable. I think that it's likely to happen in 2026. We'll see whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. And then we've got this article here: global crypto exchange back Saudi Arabia's stablecoin digital asset ambition. So, what I wanted to touch on was something that I talked about a little bit earlier, right? Around liquidity, moving the markets, what to expect when it comes to crypto, why I don't believe that the crypto winter or bear market is here or about to be here just yet. I think we've got a good, 6 to 9 months of upside. The reason why I believe this is you can just see how much focus there is on stable coins right now. And stable coins are, a really pivotal part of blockchain. And all these new stable coins that are coming into play, that is liquidity in blockchain. That is money that's on the sidelines, ready to be deployed into altcoins or Bitcoin, right? We're going to have printing in Web 2 world, right, with the Fed. We're going to see lots of liquidity flow in, and this is just around the corner and is really exciting, I should say. So yeah, look, for me, we're in a really unique position. We're a good dollar cost averaging opportunity, in my humble opinion. Treat everything that I said in this video purely as entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Never invest more than you're willing to lose, because you do risk losing it all. Nothing's guaranteed in crypto. And all the price predictions that I have are just that. They're predictions. They're not guaranteed to actually come to fruition. So take it with a pinch of salt. And do that with everybody that you're watching on YouTube. Nothing's guaranteed. I do need to be quite clear. I want everybody to be successful. The only way you're successful is by doing your own research and surrounding yourself by like-minded individuals, right? So join our free educational Discord. Over 7,500 people in there supporting one another navigate this crypto space safely. What I would say is it's very powerful to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. If you have concerns, share them, ask questions. There's an array of people with different experiences in this market, good, bad, ugly. And ultimately, there's this phrase that you have to pay an entry fee when it comes to investing in cryptocurrency. Now, I agree with that to an extent. Like, people all make mistakes when you come and invest in crypto, whether that's you being scammed, whether that's, doing something wrong and losing your crypto because you sent it on the wrong chain. There's just so many ways you can mess things up. Now, I would argue that if you surround yourself with the right people, with various different levels of experience in blockchain, you are potentially going to learn from other people sharing the mistakes they made, and you don't then have to make them. So I think it's a very powerful opportunity to immerse yourself with like-minded individuals, have talks, debate, obviously keep everything positive and respectful. But ultimately, it's a great place to engage with others in something you're interested in. It's a problem in the real world, I guess, is that a lot of people don't talk about money. People boast about money, they strive for money, but it's difficult to talk to people in the real world. Let's say you're at your 9 to 5 job. It's hard to talk to people that aren't interested in crypto about crypto. So, I think it's a huge opportunity to immerse yourself with like-minded individuals. So join us in the free educational Discord. I'll catch you in the next video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.